Welcome back to another podcast episode. This is the second episode of the Create a Better Course podcast, and I'm really excited about today's episode. Today's episode is on a topic that if someone ever publishes an episode like this, I always listen to it, and I wish every podcaster and online business owner was a little more transparent about this stuff, because today we're talking all about money, and I'm going to share exactly all of the ways my business makes money. I'm also going to share some different tips and tangible advice for growing your income in your business. I've been full-time in my business for over 4 years now, and I've learned a lot about how to make more money, especially without burning out or constantly working more. That's a huge lesson I had to learn along the way. So to start off, for clarification, last year in 2022, my business made about $128,000. And that is before taxes and expenses. It's honestly not quite as glamorous as it sounds, because a lot of that money did go to paying for taxes. And then I do have regular expenses in my business. And even though I try to run a very lean business where I focus on not spending a ton of money so that way I can keep more of my money and save and invest it for the future, there's still costs to running my business, and as my income grows, those expenses also grow. So I did not keep all of that $128,000. I am so happy and grateful that I'm able to make over six figures, and I definitely am taking home over twice as much as I was taking home at my previous day job. So that's great, but there's also a lot of kind of expensive things to running your own business. And I don't say that to deter anyone or say that you shouldn't have your own business, because I love having my own business. But there's a lot of things that you have to pay for, where in a traditional job, either you don't pay the full amount or you receive some money towards it. So for example, I have to pay for my own health insurance, and that's honestly kind of expensive. If I had a traditional job, part of that would be paid for by the company, probably. I also don't get any sort of retirement match. Well, I could match my own money, but it's all coming from the same place. So I don't get anything where if I save for retirement, I get an extra 3% from the company I'm working for, which is kind of a bummer, honestly. And I have days still at this point in my business where I am years into being full-time, where I am making over six figures. I have days where I feel like the smart thing to do would be to go get a normal job. And that's usually something I just feel for a short period of time. But there are a lot of additional costs to running your own business that if you have a traditional job, you don't really have to worry about. There's other things like I don't get paid time off necessarily. I can save money and still pay myself when I take time off, which is what I do, but I don't get any sort of accrual where I get X amount of vacation days and then those days are paid out to me. I don't really get anything like that because I'm the one running the company. So it's all kind of coming from the same money pot. I also wanted to share a little bit about how my income has changed over the years, because the ways in which I make money looks very different than how it used to look in my business. So when I very first started my business, all of the money I made was through one-on-one clients, which was where I would work with an individual client and they would pay me by the hour. And early on in my business, I was always paid by the hour. That's just what I did. Nowadays, I have hourly clients where it just makes the most sense for them to pay me by the hour. These are usually people I've worked with for years. We have a very well-established relationship. And then I have clients where they pay by the project. So they pay for an entire project. It's almost always broken up into different payments, so they're not paying all up front, But for example, if we are setting up their online course from start to finish, I will map out a project proposal with all of the things it's going to include, from helping write the curriculum to getting it uploaded into the online course software to helping with the sales page. And some of this stuff really varies client by client. It's not always the same, and the proposal is not always the same. And then it's one cost for the entire project. And I do keep in mind the amount of hours it's going to take me to do the project as I'm figuring out the proposal, but how I bill it to the person is as a project flat fee instead of always doing hourly. I also have a much larger variety of income streams than I used to have. In the beginning, it was all one-on-one clients. Now, as I'm about to really dive into in detail, there's a lot of different income streams that I have, and it took a while to grow those, but they really help in making more money. They make it a lot easier to make more money because I'm making money in different ways. So let's get to the breakdown of exactly all of the services I offer, and I'm going to share what percentage of my income that made up in 2022. So this was all last year. Some of these things are already on track to have grown this year now that we're headed into the summer, but I wanted to use a full year of data just because it felt like the easiest to compare and to give a really raw sense of what money actually looks like in my business. So the breakdown: one-to-one clients, where I am working with one individual or one specific company, made up 87% of my income last year. So that's huge, 87%. And it's going to be a huge number this year as well. It's not going to be quite as high because I have really been working on growing some of my other income streams. But working with clients on a one-to-one basis is the biggest way my company makes money. And that is where I am either helping them with something specific to their course, I'm setting up an online course for them, or sometimes it's not an online course, but it's a digital product. Like we're setting up a workshop or an ebook or some other sort of product. There's a lot of different products out there that I can set up. And I have really 3 types of these one-on-one clients. So the first one are retainer clients. And these are people I work with every single month on a monthly basis. We usually have about a set amount of hours or like a set monthly fee. And then I have a certain number of tasks I do for them every single month around updating their online course, helping to manage students, helping to create new assets for the course or update the sales page. And we have a regular working relationship every month. And most of my retainer clients I've worked with for over 3 years. At this point, I really like working with retainer clients. Some people love retainer clients, some people hate them. I really like them because I really like having these incredible relationships with people where I know the ins and outs of their business. I know their long-term goals. I know what they're passionate about. I know where all of their brand photos are. I know what they like and what they don't like. And I just find I'm able to be a really efficient worker when I know the back end of their business super well. So I love retainer clients. The second type of clients I have are project-based clients. So these are people where we start working together and we have a specific start date and a specific end date, and there's a specific project we're working on. So usually this looks like we're setting up an online course for them. And we'll have a discovery call. We will make sure we're a good fit. I will send a project proposal that includes an outline of everything that needs to happen, dates for when it needs to happen, what I'm going to need for them, because especially with an online course, I can't record the videos for them. I can certainly help create the script and I can help with the editing and I can help with some of the direction, but there's things they're going to need to do as well. So all of that is outlined, and then everything we're doing to actually make the course, of uploading the videos, creating transcripts for the lessons. And I won't get into all of it because it's a long list and it really varies by client, but it's a specific project. It has a start and an end date. And then when that project is done, we are basically done. And they can come back in the future for future services. And often that does happen. I get a ton of repeat clients, which I really love working with them because it's really fun to work with someone that you already know. You know what they like, you know what they're into. So that does happen a lot. But we work together and then there's some sort of space or time after where we're not working together. So it has a specific beginning date, end date, and it's just like a one-off project. We're not continuously working together. The third category of one-on-one clients are corporate clients. So these are corporations, companies who need help creating online courses or with instructional design. And I don't currently do a ton of this. I used to do more of it in the past because they can be very consistent, they can be very profitable, but they're not always the most fun to work with. I really enjoy working with people who are solo or small team entrepreneurs. So they're usually the only person in their business and they're making a course about something really unique and cool that they've done in their life. Like they're making a fitness program or they've published a book and now they're teaching others how to create a book. That is really amazing to me and that's what I love doing. Corporate clients, we're not usually doing something as fun. We're usually making a course that's about something related to their company. Usually it's for internal employees, so it's not for people outside of the company. It's for people in the company, training them to do different things. So I kind of keep them in their own category, and early on I did a lot of work like that. But as my business has grown, I really like working with entrepreneurs. So that's what I focus on in my own business. And I've gotten to the point where I have quite a large waiting list of months and months long. So I don't have to take on the corporate clients, though I have worked with several that are really fun. And usually in that case, I'm working with a larger team. So I'm coming in and working as a contractor, and then I'm talking to managers and their marketing departments or their education department, depending on what the course is about, and helping to create and support the course. The second way my business makes money is templates. So I, a couple of years ago, started experimenting with selling templates specifically related to online courses. So primarily this looks like sales pages because you need a sales page to sell your online course. Sometimes I'll also include like a webinar registration page, assets to help students move through the course, different things like that. And currently I have a bunch of templates that are for ThriveCart, which is a digital product sales program. It also allows you to host an online course. And I have sales page templates and upsell templates and thank you page templates. If you go to my website, marakasaric.com/ThriveCart templates, you can see them all. And the reason I started growing templates was because about 2 years into my business, I had this really frustrating problem, but very amazing problem at the same time of I was really booked out and I was constantly telling clients no, or I guess they weren't clients. They were people on my wait list. They weren't clients yet. They were people who wanted to work together because I was getting referrals of people saying, hey, I worked with Mara. It was a really good experience. You should work with her too. And it became a little overwhelming, honestly. It's such a good place to be in your business to have that kind of like volume of people wanting to work with you. But it's really frustrating to say, I'm so sorry, I can't take you on right now. And personally, I don't really want to grow a large marketing agency. I like having a business that's smaller, that's basically just me. It's just not the direction I want to go in life to have like 10 employees doing what I do. I get a lot of feedback sometimes where people say, that's what you should do, that would be the smart move, but it's just not what I want in life. So I constantly felt like I was turning people away, and people really wanted more help with like their sales page and setting things up. So I started creating templates where you can buy them, you put them into your own account. I have training and education on how to use them. So for example, my Thrive Cart templates help walk you through how to set up the template, some of the reasons I put certain things in the template to help you sell your product, and how to customize it all. So you can customize it all to match your branding, your colors, the photos, the fonts, all of that you get, and then you can put it into your own account. And it costs a lot less than working one-on-one with me because I can sell it anytime they're assets I've already created. So I love templates, and it's really cool to see someone buy a template and then email me or message me on Instagram and like show me their sales page or talk about how easy it was to use, which this might sound silly, but I wasn't really expecting that feedback when I first started selling templates. I honestly felt like I was cheating when I sold templates. I thought I was being greedy. I had all of these weird mindset issues come up of, Mara, you should be helping them one-on-one. You should be in their account doing it. It's silly to sell templates. And that probably sounds silly to say out loud if you're listening to this, but it is a real thing I encountered. But when I started selling the templates, I pretty regularly do get feedback where people are like, thank you so much. I am a small business owner. It's just me. I have no idea how to use ThriveCart or Kartra or Kajabi. And you were able to save me a bunch of time. And that feels so good to help someone and get those messages. And I've gotten a couple of those from people who, they were in another country, so they're in a totally different time zone than I am. And overnight, they buy my template, they upload it, they customize it, they get it live, and they even have a couple of sales on their product overnight while I'm sleeping. And then I wake up to this message about how it's been so helpful and it allowed them to get their online course or their product up sooner. That is such a good feeling. So templates made up 5% of my income last year, 5%. And templates are the area that I'm currently focusing on the most in my business because it allows me to grow my business without always working more hours. Last year, I worked way too much. I feel like I had a really good income year and I had a really great year overall, but I worked a lot of long days last year, more than I would have liked to. So going forward, I'm putting a lot more of an emphasis on things like templates right now. I'm really focusing on ThriveCart templates because I've had so many people ask me for help in this area, and then I'll probably expand it to some other platforms after that. The next category of ways I make money is coaching calls and strategy calls. So very similar to the templates, I started to get a lot of people asking me online course questions and asking me questions about things like, which online course software should I use? Because I have used so many online course softwares. I'm not going to say I've used every single one because there's so many out there, but I've built courses on a lot of different platforms. So I have a lot of different insight on the pros and cons of each one. People will also sometimes ask me to review their online course, to look at their launch plan. Sometimes they just want to talk through different things about their course, like maybe they have an evergreen course, which is a course that is always available for sale, and they're not getting sales. And so we will do a strategy call and talk about different things that they could do to sell more of their online course. So coaching calls and strategy calls made up 4% of my income last year. And this is where people buy 1 hour of my time. I have a really robust form that they can fill out. It asks them a bunch of questions about what are you struggling with? What do you need help with? And then I spend some time preparing for the call. Sometimes I'll pull a list of assets, things I want to recommend, and then on the actual call, which is recorded and they get a replay of it, we will talk through some of the things they're struggling with. So Sometimes it looks a lot more like me reviewing a sales page and making a list of things they might want to change or reevaluate. Other times we'll just kind of talk through their goals for the course, how to structure the curriculum. These calls really depend on what people need support with. And something else I do, so typically I call that a strategy call where we're talking about online courses or digital products. But I also do coaching calls where I just talk about online business with people, which is something I didn't think I would ever do. I am not someone who identifies as a coach or thinks of myself as a coach. But after I left my day job, and especially about 2 years in, where I had been running a business full-time for about 2 years, I was at that 6-figure mark, I started getting a lot of questions from people around, how did you do this, Mara? How did you start your business? How did you leave your day job? I also sometimes will get questions about really specific things in my business, like growing your income, getting more clients, handling difficult client situations. And so I started getting more and more like questions and requests. And I specifically got one person that asked, hey, can I buy a coaching call with you? I am new in business and I just really want to talk through some different bookkeeping things, how to find my first few clients, how to get a website that makes sense. And so when they said that, I, at the time, did not offer coaching calls, but they were asking for one. So I set up a coaching call. It's kind of similar to a strategy call, but we're really talking about online business, and I love doing these calls. Personally, in my own business, I don't do a ton of business coaching. I do some, but I don't do a ton. But the best coaching I have ever received in my business were calls like this, where I bought 1 hour of someone's time, and they were someone that I admired. They were someone who had done the things I wanted to do in my business. And I was able to just pick their brain, and they were super honest about it all. And that's exactly how I do my coaching calls, where I am a complete open book. If you want to know about finances, we will talk about that. If you want to know about different softwares, if you want to know about getting your first clients, we will do that. And I also have a couple of clients who they'll buy a package of 3 calls, and then they'll split it up over the course of a couple of months, or usually more than a couple of months. They'll do a call every other month. And then that way they have some accountability to go do all of the things that we're talking about. So I really, really love doing those calls. I just naturally love talking about online business. So it's really cool to talk to people who are growing a business, even if it's not in the same exact field as me, and just be there to support them and brainstorm different things they can do to make the journey easier. The next way I make money, and this is the newest way I make money, by the way, it is affiliate income. And that makes up 3% of my total income. So affiliate income, if you don't know, is where you get a small kickback on the sale of a product or a software. So one of the most common ones is Amazon affiliate links, which a lot of bloggers and Instagram influencers have Amazon affiliate links. And if they talk about a product and you buy it, they get a super small kickback. And there's a lot of softwares that also offer this. For the first 3 years of my business, I did not do anything with affiliate income. I honestly felt like it was cheating, it was wrong, there was something dishonest about it, which is really silly because when I buy software in my business or I buy something for my business, I almost always specifically go try to find someone's affiliate code, like a business friend's code, because I know how helpful it is to them. But early on, I did not do anything with affiliate income. I actually did not make any affiliate income in my business until 2022. So just last year, because I just didn't have it set up and I didn't feel great about it. But consistently, I was talking to people about different software, specifically online course software. Every single day, people ask me about which software should they use, and I was never sharing an affiliate link for any of that stuff. So I got a lot more intentional about if I'm going to share my opinion, and it's always honest. I will tell you the pros and the cons of things, I share the affiliate link as well. And usually I'll just say something like, hey, by the way, this is my affiliate link. You don't have to use it. And if you look on my website, anything that's an affiliate link or like in emails, I disclose all of that. And it's all things I normally talk about anyway. When I very first started having affiliate links, all I did was go back through my email welcome sequence that you get when you opt in to one of my freebies. And I just changed the links to be my link because in my welcome series, I talk about a bunch of stuff I use in my own business. And so it's stuff I'm already talking about. But for whatever reason, I felt like it was cheating to share any of those affiliate income links with anyone. Even though now I do it, I'm super transparent about it. I never mind when someone else shares their link. It just was this huge block I had. So over the last year, I've been swapping out those links, sharing a lot more of that stuff. I think also as my business has grown, I just get more questions about products in my business. And some of them now are actually products from my personal life. For example, I have a timer. It's a cube timer. I will have to link it in the show notes. But it's a timer, and then you can flip it over to different time intervals. So if I flip it over to the 30-minute side, it counts down from 30 minutes. And then there's a 15-minute one. And I use this all the time when I'm working, where I will set a 30-minute timer, do a bunch of work, it goes off, I get up, walk around, reward myself. And everyone I show this timer to, just because sometimes I'll talk about it on my Instagram stories, or my online business friends know I use it because they hear it going off when we're on meetings, and they will go get one. So there's things like that that I naturally talk about all the time. I find super helpful, and now I just share the link because it is really helpful in your business to have these diversified income streams. And then the last category of ways I make money, and this is only 1% of my income, 1%. But it is speaking. So every once in a while, I will speak at a conference or a virtual summit or a virtual conference, or sometimes I do an in-person workshop. I haven't done as many of those lately. And then I will get some type of speaker's fee. And I really don't do a ton of these currently just because primarily I work online, but it is something I do and I really enjoy doing workshops and conferences. And it's really cool as I've done more of those. Some of those things have budgets to pay their speakers and can pay you for your time, which is a really cool feeling. So to review and break it down, one-to-one client work is 87% of my income. Template sales, 5%. Coaching or strategy calls are 4%. Affiliate income is 3%. And then speaking gigs is 1%. And those percentages were all for last year. So we're about 6 months into this year, and the percentages look similar, but they're already a little different. My template income has grown to about 10% so far this year. And then my coaching and strategy calls are up, affiliate income is up, and speaking is actually down because I only have done one little mini tiny speaking virtual summit that I did in January. But I'm hoping to have those numbers continue to shift. I love working one-on-one with clients. I don't ever want it to sound like I don't, but it does become kind of unsustainable. And I constantly have this wait list, and sometimes it's kind of hard to always be launching. If I'm creating products and online courses for someone, I'm basically always launching a product for someone, which if you've ever launched something in your own business, launches can be very stressful. They don't always have to be stressful, but I've hit this point in my business where I can't constantly be launching the next course for someone, because the last couple of years, it literally was like every single week I was launching a product for someone or an online course. And during launch time, it's all hands on deck. So I've just noticed that I kind of need to pivot. And also, in order to help more people, I need more things that don't involve duplicating myself, because there's only one of me and I can't really duplicate myself. So doing things like coaching and templates allows me to help a lot more people and do it at a lower cost too, which is really great. And lastly, before I go, I want to share some of my tips for growing your income and things that helped me get to above that six-figure mark. I have 3 things that, looking back, I really think helped get to that six-figure mark. And for reference, I actually got to the six-figure mark the first year in my business. And then the second year, my income went down a little bit below the six-figure mark just because I had this period of transition where I was working too much, but I wasn't really charging more. So the second year of my business, I went through learning, okay, I need to raise my prices. I need to do some other things because I can't just infinitely work. And then the last couple of years, I've been just over that six-figure mark, with last year, as I said, being about $128,000. And in full transparency, my goal is to continue to grow it so that I can save and I can donate money and I can do cool things with my family. I think we all want that at the end of the day. So I want to share some of the things that really helped. And the first one is diversifying your income. I already talked about how early on I had no income diversification, and that was because I felt like it was too early to start that in my business. The first basically 4 years of my business, and I still feel this sometimes, I felt like I need to put in my dues. I can't sell a product. I need to be the one in the trenches doing the work. And looking back, I wish I had done some income diversification and creating different income streams sooner and earlier, because it takes a while to grow that stuff. Even if you set it all up, it takes a while for that to start getting traction. And I am at a point in my business now where I often wake up in the morning and I have sales on some of the digital products that I have, which I have the templates. I also this year have some online courses that I'm releasing and a few other things. I've got some spreadsheet templates. So I have different things that come in through and give me sales. I didn't have any of that early on. And as I shared, I didn't do anything with affiliate income. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do. And even if it adds 1% to your income, it's so helpful because it makes everything else in your business easier. It makes taking time off easier. It makes saving money easier. When your money is coming in different ways, it's a lot less stressful to run your business, because I always worry about my business just going south and all of my clients fall off when I don't make any money, and having different income streams really helps with that. So my biggest tip is to diversify your income, create different income streams, and specifically look for things that you feel like you are not allowed to do. So for me, a big one of those were affiliate income and coaching calls. It literally took people saying, "Hey, Mara, I want to buy this from you. Where is the link?" for me to go set it up. So there's probably things that you see other people doing and you feel like you're not allowed to do it. And I would look at those things and start questioning, well, why can't I do it? Why am I not allowed to do it? And you can even make something super simple like an ebook or a spreadsheet template that's just like a Google Sheets template that you sell for $10 and people can buy it and then have a copy in their account. It doesn't have to be complicated, but having any sort of additional income helps so much, and it kind of naturally grows over time, because now I have people who go on my email list and are added to it every single day. They buy different products from my email list, and that is really amazing. So start now. Start creating passive income products now, even if you don't feel like you're ready. My second tip is to really evaluate your prices and regularly raise them. Now, I know this is not unheard of or groundbreaking advice, but I have really struggled with raising my prices over the years. Early on in my business, I was just happy anyone was paying me anything, like literally any money to be doing what I'm doing. And I still feel really happy that people are paying me any sort of money in my business. But it becomes really unsustainable. And also you're gaining more experience, you're becoming better at your job. No one is going to give you a raise. Even in a traditional day job, you often have to fight for a raise. In your own business, don't forget to give yourself raises and increase your prices. And I'm not talking about doing this all the time. I had someone tell me a couple of years ago that every time you finish a big project, so for me, that would be an online course, but if you're a photographer, it might be a brand shoot. If you're a website designer, it might be like a full website design. Anytime you finish a big project, kind of reevaluate your pricing and see if you should raise it. And even if it's $10 or $50 or possibly more, it's really important to look back and regularly be raising your prices. So I would say at least every 6 months, look at your prices and see if you need to raise them. And 6 months might be too often for you, but what happened for me was the first 2.5 years in my business, I really did not raise my prices at all, like at all. And then I realized I was wildly undercharging for what I was offering. And I had to go through this period where I had to do like a big price increase. And I really wish I had done it more incrementally over time. It also would have made things a lot easier for me. I also was just really undervaluing my services, honestly. So don't do that, and take a look at your prices and just see, have you raised them recently? If you haven't, just try it. You can tell a new client your new price and it's not a big deal. Maybe they'll say no, and it might not be because of the price. It might be for some other reason, but it doesn't hurt to try it. And then my last tip for earning more money in your business is to actually spend less money, which I know is a little backwards and not exactly related, but I see a lot of business owners, and I fell into this a little bit, though I've tried to be really frugal in my business over the years because I want to take home the money I'm earning. But don't spend everything you earn, and get really strappy and creative at times. There are so many coaches and online courses and software that you can buy. You're constantly bombarded by all of the things people tell you that you need to be successful in business. And some of it really helps. There's certainly things in my business that I now pay for that make my life so much easier. But there's a lot of stuff you don't need. So don't be afraid to say no to things. I have a rule in my business that if I'm thinking about buying some sort of course, or if I'm thinking about hiring someone to help me with something like Pinterest, my rule is that I have to Google it first and I have to try it on my own. So this works really well with things I don't know how to do. I will force myself to say, hey, Mara, you're going to spend at least 10 minutes just looking for free information about said topic. And if after 10 minutes I don't have any next steps or first actions I feel like I can take, then I can go buy whatever it is I want. But 99.9% of the time, what happens is I realize there's a bunch of stuff I could do that would help get me started. Maybe it won't get me all the way there, but it'll help get me started and help learn about whatever I'm trying to learn about, whether it's like Facebook ads or marketing in my business or copywriting. If I can find step 1, then I can usually find step 2 and step 3, and maybe down the line I can buy a course that'll help me, but so often you don't need those things early on. So just keep an eye on your spending and give yourself permission to experiment for a while. You can usually buy something later on, but it's really easy to spend all of the money you make in your business. And I know this was about making more money, but I've found something that's really helped me in my business is I'm able to pay myself every single month, and I'm able to pay my rent and pay my bills and stuff like that. And that's really helpful of having a solid foundation and putting those things first over buying more and more things to help me in my business. I hope this was helpful. I really enjoy talking about money. It honestly feels a little uncomfortable to share about money stuff because no matter the amount of money, it can feel like a lot or it can feel like not enough, and it just all depends on your perspective. But I'm so thankful and glad I was able to share this with all of you. And if you have any questions or things you want to hear more about business finances, because this is especially an area that it's hard to find resources on, you can send me a message on Instagram at Mara Kasarik. I will put the link in the show notes, but you can send me a message, and I love chatting about the podcast episode there as well. Hey there, friend. You made it all the way to the end of the episode. I am so grateful and excited that you're here. If you want to hear more episodes like this about online business, online courses, growing your passive income, then you'll want to hit the subscribe button so that way you never miss an episode. It was so much fun hanging out with you today, and I'll see you on the next episode.